to Yoga 77. My name is Jackie. We'll begin in a tabletop position today, spreading the fingers wide, shoulders above your wrists, and just start to take some free movement in your tabletop. You might take your hips side to side, you might take some circles over your wrists, and just feel free to take the movement as big, as small as you like, and just try to work maybe a little slower than you normally would, just to allow you time to begin to check in with how you've arrived for your practice today. And just notice what there is to notice without having to really change anything. Just arrive how you are and as you are, with a sense of acceptance and softness, kindness to yourself. And really just bring in that idea of observing with an open mind. You might notice how your body feels, maybe your joints, your muscles. And then maybe you start to notice your breath. But again, without having to change anything, just observe your breath as it is. Maybe observe the rhythm of your breath, the flow of your breath. Maybe notice where in your body you can feel your breath in this movement. Maybe notice the temperature of your breath. You might be able to hear your breath. Just notice what it sounds like. You might choose to close your eyes, or you might prefer a soft gaze. Just allowing yourself to become a little bit more internal within your body. And feel free to add some movement through your shoulders. Maybe bringing one further forward, one further back. Maybe out to the side. You might even lift one and lower the other. Maybe some movement through your head. Feel free to take your gaze back down one side to the other, maybe looking at your foot or the back of your mat. Just invite that movement through your neck. Really, whatever is feeling right, whatever comes intuitively to you, what comes naturally to you. And then we'll begin to come into stillness, no hurry at all. And your stillness might not be completely still. There might still be a little bit of rocking or swaying, a little bit side to side, maybe forward to back. Start to come into what feels like a neutral position to you. And you might invite a little light activation through the center of your body. Whatever that feels means to you, coming into your center. So it might be through the core. It might be just a slightly greater connection to your breath. And then start to push down evenly through both hands, almost like you're trying to push your mat away from you. Let the head be heavy, and the eye gaze might come back down toward your legs. And let the belly soften, and just slowly bring the eye gaze forward, maybe to the top of your mat, and see if you can draw the shoulders down and back, opening a little bit more through the heart space. And then come through that again. So start to push down with both hands, eye gaze towards your legs. And then just let go a little through the hands, let the belly soften, eye gaze comes forward. And so take it through your cat-cow at your own pace. And then maybe a little bit more coordination with your breath, if that feels right. It might be an exhale as you dome into your cat, and maybe an inhale as the belly softens into cow. But just notice if that is how your breath wants to work, wants to move, wants to flow. If that doesn't feel right to you, just try really listening to your body, listen to your breath, and notice how your breath does want to flow. And just that simple idea of noticing your breath is coming into your yoga breathing. And working with that idea of not bringing any force or restraint to your breath. More, notice how your breath would like to flow with this movement. And just take another 2 to 3 rounds. If you're already done, feel free to draw the hips back into your child's, otherwise just finishing your rounds. Again, no hurry at all. Feel free to take any side to side movement again, just letting that settle, and then you might bring the knees a little wider, big toes might touch, and then just lower your belly and chest down. Again, you might take some little rocks side to side, almost like you are inviting a little bit more space before you settle in. Just finding that sweet spot where your body would like to find stillness. You might bring your forehead down to your mat. And we'll stay here for a few breath rounds. And the invitation here is to breathe in through your nose and out through your nose if you're not doing that already. Again, if that doesn't feel right or if it's not available, just take your breath. And you might start to encourage, just gently, or bring the idea in of allowing your exhale to be a little bit longer than your inhale. Let's take another 2 to 3 breaths here. And then it might be your next inhale. Draw yourself up into tabletop, and we'll extend out through the right leg. And I will turn to face you in just a moment. And so you're working the sole of your right foot down towards the ground. If it doesn't come right down, that's okay. And again, you might just take some little movements just to settle in. And then start to draw your hip back towards your heel. Now you can have the toes tucked under. If you do, it's a little bit more of a stretch through the sole of the foot, around the toes. But if that doesn't work for you, just come down onto the top of that back foot. And again, you might move with your breath here. So it might be an exhale as you draw full arm back, draw the hips back, and an inhale as you draw forward. And just notice if you can bring a sense of rhythm to the movement and your breath. You might start to push down a little bit more through your hands evenly, bringing a little bit more activation through your upper back, the upper shoulders, almost a light doming through the shoulders, through the upper back. And try to keep your eye gaze straight down, like you are lengthening from the crown of the head down to your tailbone. Just taking a few more like that. And then when you next come back into what feels like a neutral position, I'm just going to turn so you can see a little better. Just going to stay here and start to bring yourself up into an upright position. And so noticing activation through your core, through your center, and the lift through the front of the body, and we'll extend out through the arms, almost like a modified warrior two shape. Roll the shoulders down and back. Beautiful. And start to draw your foot and your legs towards each other, firing up through those inner thighs. And we'll just keep the activation through the legs as we take an extension through the side body. And so your movement might be a little smaller, might be a little bigger. And starting to create length through the side body, but see if you can keep that sense of drawing in through your midline by drawing the right foot in towards your left thigh towards that right foot. And so you can probably feel that through your mid body, maybe in your leg muscles, maybe the glutes, maybe around the tummy area. You might even choose to close your eyes down here. You can keep a soft gaze or keep watching your monitor or screen. Right, reach out through the fingertips as well, create even a little bit more length. Feel free to reach the hand down to one leg and then the other. Beautiful. And then next time you come over to the left side, we're just going to stay here, but you might take some little pulses coming in and out. So you might reach the fingertips down towards the floor. If you prefer to bring a block in for support or even a chair to support yourself with, you're very, very welcome. Or you might prefer the contact, drawing the hand down the side of the leg. Very welcome to bring the eye gaze up, if that works for you. And again, we'll hold in this shape. Once you've found your shape, think of lifting the front body, the chest, the ribs, more upwards towards the ceiling rather than facing down. So there's a real activation. Keep the connection of that back foot, especially the back edge of that back foot, working down towards your mat. And just find a shape where you're not forcing into it, just maybe back out a little bit so that you can bring a connection back to your breath. And again, if it's available to you, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Maybe another 2 to 3 breath rounds here. And when you're ready to come out, it might be your inhale. Again, just take what you need. If you need to bring some movement through the right leg, you're very, very welcome to bend in and out. And then we'll set up for our gate pose. So we're going to come up onto the heel of the right foot. If that doesn't work, you can keep the foot down, that's all good. Otherwise, just pointing the toes upwards and maybe even flexing through the foot so the toes come up towards the ceiling. And this time we're going to slide the right hand down towards the toes in that direction. And again, notice that opening through the front body. So the chest is opening more towards the ceiling. And then we'll bring that left arm up. Find that length. You might reach up through the fingertips. And again, you might just start to come across your midline a little. You can soften through that arm as much as you like. And again, little pulses coming in and out. Now again, if it's there for you, start to bring a little bit more activation through the lower body. So drawing the heel in towards your left thigh, thigh towards heel. And again, you might hold in stillness in your gate pose. You don't have to, you might prefer working with the movement. Again, we'll stay for another 2 to 3 breath rounds here. Again, when you're ready to come out, it might be up on your inhale. Just take any movements to release that, bringing the sole of the foot back down, bring the hands back down, and again, just take some movement you like. It might bring that leg back in already, come back into your tabletop. Just find some movement through your cat-cow, perhaps You might prefer side to side, really just taking what feels right, what feels good. And then we'll come back into child's pose before we take it all on the second side. So again, you might take some just side to side. Just take a moment to come into stillness as you're ready. You might reconnect to your breath here. Maybe notice the breath coming more into your back body, into the side ribs. You might even feel a difference from one side of your body to the other. So you might notice one leg feels different to the other side, maybe your hip, maybe through the lower back you notice a difference from one side to the other. And you might notice things like one leg feels longer or shorter. You might notice one side feels heavier or lighter. You might notice tingling or sensation. Maybe the temperature is different. Just be curious. Just notice what you can notice. And then we'll come back into our tabletop shape. And we'll extend out through the left leg. And again, just working the sole of the foot down towards the ground. See if you can keep the toes soft and spread the toes out a little. And again, we'll take that shifting forward and back. Again, your choice with those back toes. You might take a few with the toes tucked, just see how that feels. Otherwise, you're very, very welcome to untuck the toes so the top of the foot is on your mat. No right or wrong, just your choice, yogi's choice. And again, you might connect to the breath here. So maybe an inhale as you draw back. Draw forward, and an exhale as you draw back. So an inhale forward and an exhale drawing back. And again, you might not come as far forward or as far back, and it might feel quite different on the second side. It can even feel awkward or just strange on the second side, or the other way around. It might feel easier. It might feel like it all makes sense now. And just see if you can find a connection, a rhythm to your breath. Might close your eyes. Might prefer a soft gaze. Again, once you feel ready, complete on that second side, come into what feels like a neutral shape. Nice, and then we're going to come up into our gate pose. So again, you're looking for that lift through the front body. And feel free to bring something under that supporting knee if the knee is not very happy on the ground. And again, we'll take that side to side movement. And feel free to allow the arms to be a little softer. Almost, again, like you're encouraging a softness through the upper body rather than a tension. Just notice your shoulders here, notice the neck, maybe the jaw. Maybe even a little smile on your face, just to add that sense of lightness and softness. And then again, notice your lower body. So activation, drawing into your midline, drawing the left foot in towards your right thigh, thigh towards foot. And then a sense of that lift through the front body, through the heart space, right to the crown of the head. Just a few more like this. It's like, again, you're creating space. Nice, and next time you come to the right side, we're going to hold in that shape. So finding that reach over towards the right side. And again, you might bring a chair in for support. stool, you might be on a block, or hand touching the leg, whatever feels right. And then just come in and out of the shape. Try to keep your focus on the connection of the left foot down to your mat. Lengthening through the side body, and again a sense of opening the ribs up towards the ceiling rather than facing down. You can keep with movement. You might prefer to come into stillness. Very welcome to take the eye gaze up if you'd like. You don't have to. We'll come back through center. Come back into that, what feels like a warrior two pose. Just find that strength. You might even roll the shoulders down and back. Again, see if you can draw the foot towards leg, leg towards foot. Beautiful. And then we'll come up onto the heel of the left foot. Let's bring the hands down and we'll start to slide the left hand down your left leg. You might bring the right arm up and reach to find that space, and then maybe again coming across your midline. Again, you might take some little pulses coming in and out. Again, see if you can keep that light activation. So this time drawing the heel in towards your right thigh, thigh towards the heel. The heel of the leg that's extended out, almost like you're drawing it in, trying to scrunch your mat together. So it's this idea of drawing into your midline and then lengthening up through the spine, right to the crown of your head. Almost like a sense of lightness. Again, you might come into stillness. You might choose to take the eye gaze up. Just holding for a couple more breaths here. And then when you're ready to come down, no hurry, just mindfully come back through center. Just take any little movements, adjustments to come out. Bring the hands down. Bring the sole of that foot down, and again, maybe some free movement here with the leg extended before you draw it back in into your child's pose. And take any other little movements in your tabletop. It might be side to side, it might be some cat-cows. Just releasing that all, letting it all go. Nice, and then we'll come over into a seated position. And just see if you can sit tall on your sit bones, palms facing each other. Roll the shoulders sort of down and back, so the armpits are more drawing in towards your body, like you're closing them from your neighbour. Beautiful, and then we're just going to roll down a little bit. So you're tucking under the tailbone, and then roll yourself back up, sit nice and tall right on the sit bones, and we'll do that again. So you might roll down on your exhale, and you might roll up on the inhale. Just take a few more like this, and then start to notice if you are trying to use your shoulders or your neck. Notice any tension in the jaw. And try to soften those areas. So we're really trying to isolate just through these tummy muscles, through the ab muscles. Focus on the movement, rolling down through the tailbone, lower spine, and then creating length, almost sitting right up on the top of the sit bones. And then focus on the rhythm of your breath. And again, it might be an exhale as you roll down, an inhale as you rise. And then when you feel ready, you might start to take it a little lower. Again, if you've already done low enough, just keep it as you are. And then we will roll all the way down onto our backs. So again, you might take it all the way down without bringing the hands and arms down, or you might choose just to bring the hands, the arms down for assistance, Once you come down, just draw the legs in towards your belly, hands on the knees, and just start to take some little rocks side to side. Just massaging out through the lower back. You might turn it more into a circling motion, almost like you're guiding your knees. Try to keep the tummy muscles soft now. Softening through those big muscle groups, through the glutes, through the leg muscles, and just let the momentum, the rocking, just allow that movement just to happen. You can just guide very, very gently with your hands, but see how soft you can take this movement. Take some movement through the head as well, taking it side to side if that feels good. Nice, and then just start to allow the feet to come down to your mat. Beautiful. Might bring the arms out a little wider, palms facing up, and then bring the feet to the edges of your mat and just let the knees knock in together. Just allow the shoulders to relax down, to surrender down to the ground. Just let the fingers be gently curled. Let the toes be soft, and just find that balance of your knees knocking in towards each other. See if you can soften through the belly. You might close your eyes. Allow the eyes to be soft. Or just stay here for 1 minute. Shavasana. And then take your time to bring your mind back into your body. You might bring your awareness back to your breath. You might take your head side to side. You might wriggle your fingers, your toes. Just take any other movement that feels right. And then we will just gradually come into a seated position. So you might roll to one side. You might take a little pause there. And come up into your seated position. So it might be legs crossed, might be legs in front. Just whatever feels good. And then find a seat, lengthening through the spine. And then just take a moment to notice whether you would like to have the palms facing down or up. No right or wrong. Just notice how you feel. And just having a moment of stillness. Notice the stillness that you've created through your practice today. Down-regulating, nourishing, allowing a little bit more space, kindness, compassion, and love for yourself. And we'll just stay in stillness for another minute. You can choose to keep the eyes closed. You might prefer a soft gaze. welcome to stay as you are. You might stay for a few more minutes if that's available to you. Otherwise, I invite you to bring your hands to your heart space, one palm on top of the other hand, palm just pressing into your heart space. Just notice that connection. Notice the warmth. Notice that love that you are bringing into your heart space, the space that you have created today through your practice. Just knowing that you can come back to this practice any time you need to find that balance, a balance of your own strength, also your own space. Time to create space and maybe to allow a little letting go. Again, you might choose to stay as you are or close your practice on a shared breath. So you might inhale, arms up and overhead. Palms might meet. And just exhaling through your heart center. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Have a wonderful rest of your day, rest of your evening. Go well. Namaste.